My name is Lynn Calvert. I'm the East Central District President for United Methodist Women and also the facilitator for domestic violence education throughout the Iowa Annual Conference. We are focusing on trauma on this Advocacy Day, so there have been two panels with experts talking about how to recognize it and how to deal with it. I was in an abusive marriage for about 25 years, and when I talked to pastors, I didn't get the help that I should have or needed. One pastor told me to speak differently. One pastor told me just to leave. One pastor said, "You have to leave this church. We're going to minister to him." So that is my personal experience and why I am so passionate about teaching clergy and laity how to work together on this issue, how to recognize it, what we can practically do to help women in this situation. It happens in our churches. The most important thing is if a woman comes to you and says, or a man, I'm going to say woman because 90% of the time it is, if a woman comes and says she is unsafe in her situation, the best thing you can do is believe her. Just believe her. The next thing you can do is make sure that she has a safety plan. Just ask her, do you have a plan? Do you have a key stored somewhere? Do you have money stored somewhere? Do you have a place to go? Clergy and laity, Stephen's ministers, any of those kind of people are really not qualified to give counseling. So accept her story, and help her find the resources in the community to help her. The other thing is, I talked to one pastor who made the abuser stand up in his church and apologize. Don't do that. That plays into the abuser's cycle of abuse. So believe the woman, support her, hold the man accountable. This is a hard thing to talk about. It's a hard thing to bring up to somebody. So again, believe what she says. There are scriptures that will help her. It will help her to know that the perpetrator has broken the marriage covenant, and so she's not held to that covenant. There are other scriptures that are helpful. Safety is the number one issue. So if you can help her figure out how to be safe. Statistically, the most dangerous time for a woman in domestic violence is when she's leaving that situation. So help her to figure out how she can do that safely. Every woman comes to a point where they say, enough. Sometimes they come to that point several times. So if she comes to you and says she's in danger and then she goes back to him, don't judge her. She's doing the best that she can in the way that she can. Just every time support her. Be non-judgmental and just pray for her. Pray that she'll have some peace in her life and the courage to do what she needs to do, not only for herself but for her children. This is a cultural problem. It affects all of us. It's not a case of, well, what happens behind closed doors, stay behind closed doors. This happens in our society, and we need to talk about it in our churches. We need to talk about it with our brothers, our husbands, our sons, our nephews. We need to highlight this issue.